And we very much appreciate your determination, your work here with young people in our province. Keep up the great work. SUMA delegates, it's my absolute pleasure now to introduce our Minister of Government Relations, someone that has been a wonderful friend of SUMA. His doors are always opened, and he's always been very affirmative to any of our invitations. So I'm very pleased that I get a chance to introduce him for the SUMA delegates at the SUMA Convention, bringing the ministers, our ministers' report. And because he let everyone know that this will be his last term and he will not be running again, and our next convention isn't until way after the provincial election in October, this will be his last, I think, his last time with us on stage as the minister before our convention. So I really want to say how much we've enjoyed the work that he's done with us, his dedication for a very large portfolio. But I also want to wish him and his family the very best in whatever adventure he decides he's going to go on next. So ladies and gentlemen, please, let's have a really warm SUMA welcome for Minister of Government Relations, Don McMorris.
Thank you very much. Ooh, that's kind of loud. For the introduction, Randy, and it's always a privilege to be here on behalf of Premier Scott Moe and the Government of Saskatchewan here in Regina on Treaty 4 territory and homeland of the Métis. It's always a privilege to get invited to SUMA and be able to give remarks as the minister. As Randy said, I'm not running again, but I've been at this for quite a long time. In fact, 25 years is how long I've been elected. And when we first got elected in opposition as a Sask Party opposition, Elwin Hermanson was the leader, and he gave us each critic roles. My critic role, believe it or not, was municipal affairs, urban municipal affairs, distinctly. I guess I looked the most city-like of our caucus because we were pretty rural at the time. But I was the minister responsible for urban affairs in municipal government. And so it's kind of fitting that probably my last major public address is at SUMA as the minister. So it has been kind of a long full circle, I guess you could say. I want to thank Randy and your executive for putting this conference on, as well as Jean-Marc. It's a lot of work to organize, and I know I've got 20 minutes, so I've got my timer going right here, and I'm going to try and stay within that 20 minutes. But thank you very much for putting this on. And last year, if you remember, it was quite a bit different outside. We were in Saskatoon, and actually storm stayed in Saskatoon in April. I think it's good that you're finishing tomorrow. They say there may be a bit of snow tomorrow, but nothing like last year when we came to the SUMA conference on the Wednesday for Bear Pit, and I looked down the line and there was 2 other ministers for the Bear Pit session. And I guess maybe it was a blessing that, if there is ever a blessing that came out of COVID, is that we learned how to do things a little differently, and we're able to do it virtually, so we did get a Bear Pit session in. But I have been reassured by my colleagues. I was just at the ledge now. They're all going to be here tomorrow, so that will be much better in person. I want to thank also a number of people that are in the room from government relations for being here. And I was at a meeting earlier today with Mayor Hipsley from Yorkton, and he said, you know, if you're a good politician, you surround yourself with smart people. And I've certainly been lucky in all the portfolios that I've been in to have some really, really good people working within the ministries, whether it was health or highways or Crown Investments Corps or the different things that I've had the opportunity to be a minister of. But certainly government relations is just that. So just from my perspective, I just want to, or my thoughts and prayers are with Laurie Dene, my deputy minister, who's away on family leave right now. I also want to thank Sheldon Green for stepping in as acting deputy minister. We're going to kind of rotate through until Laurier comes back, whether it's Jeff Markowitz or Giselle Marcotte. Will be taking roles on that. So thank them and all the people from government relations. You'll be called on more tomorrow in the dialogue session. and I'll certainly rely on you. But there's one I do want to single out. And I would think that if you've been here for any length of time in SUMA and dealing with the Government Relations Ministry, that you'd probably cross paths with this one person. I think I have been here for a lifetime at 25 years. But we have one fellow that's worked for government relations for 40 years, and he's retiring in July. And if Ralph Leibel could please stand up and we could give Ralph Leibel a round of applause for what he has done, not only for the citizens of our province, but for municipalities across this province. Well, he's way over here. Just recognize Ralph Leibel. So as was said, I'm not going to be seeking re-election in October, and it's not the easiest decision. And for any of you that aren't seeking re-election in November in the municipal elections, I just want to thank you very much, whether it's been one term, 1 year, one term of 4 years, or it's been many terms, and you're stepping away. Thank you very much. I'm not sure you get a ton of thanks. We get so much thanks as as MLAs, of course. But I'm not sure you as municipal politicians closer to your electorate get the thank yous that you deserve, and you really do deserve putting your name on a ballot, stepping up and servicing and providing service to the citizens within your communities. I can tell you that over the last 25 years, I think public service has changed, and maybe you have recognized it yourself. These things are great. It's going to keep me on time, which is good for all of you, but they're not so great. And you know, you put your name on a ballot. I don't think you ever put your name on a tweet by somebody that probably hasn't done a whole lot in their life and just rips you to shreds. And it's a different life right now in politics, in public life. And I just want to thank all of you for serving for 4 years or 8 years or however long you've served. And for those of you that are going to continue to serve, thank you very much. This system does not work without good people stepping forward, and we've got a room full of them in here, and I want to thank you all for the service that you've provided and will continue to provide into the future, because it's invaluable for our province. And with that, how important it is that these meetings happen. We are in session right now, so most of our MLAs are back at the legislature through question period and will be here later on, but the dialogue that we have, not only formal settings like this, but in the informal settings, in the hallways where you can have a chat, is so extremely important, because we represent the same people you do, but at a different maybe level, I guess, in party politics compared to municipal politics. And the dialogue that we get to have with you in the off times is so extremely important, and that's why I know the Leader of the Opposition was here talking about the team that they had here. I can guarantee you there will be a room full of provincial politicians this afternoon and this evening after we get out of question period in committee that want to dialogue with you, because you certainly keep us in touch with what's going on in your specific communities. So thank you very much for that, and always a privilege, again, to come to these gatherings, whether it's SUMA or SARM or what have you. I do want to touch on really 4 areas in the time that I have left. I want to touch on the Targeted Sector Support Program. Briefly, I want to talk on municipal revenue sharing, because it hasn't been mentioned too much lately, has it? I want to also talk about ISIP and what we are expecting, kind of expecting at 2 o'clock when the finance minister rises in her place in Ottawa and delivers a budget. And then fourthly, I want to talk a little bit about property tax. It was interesting, I was here for a little while yesterday and listening to the panel discussion and the pieces around property tax and how extremely important it is to municipalities. That is your one major source of revenue. And I just want to touch a little bit on that, because there has been more talk on that in past days. Targeted sector support is part of municipal revenue sharing. It's $1.5 million taken off of that $342 million revenue sharing program that goes to communities that put in applications. We've just closed off the most recent application, well, actually in February, where $800,000 will be going out to 17 different projects. And what those projects are is when a municipality partners with another urban or rural or First Nation and puts together an application that will help them in governance, in education, in asset management. It's quite a wide range. It's 70% match, funded by federal or by provincial funds, and the remainder is the municipalities. But it's a great program. As I said, $800,000 is going out this year to 17 projects. There is an intake open right now, and it's open till June the 7th. If you haven't partnered with another municipality, think about it. I had a great talk with this community in the north that was thinking about getting a group of municipalities together and putting together, again, an application that would help them through this targeted sector support program. So if you haven't applied for that already, I would strongly advise that you do. The other area that I want to talk about briefly is municipal revenue sharing and how important that program is. And, you know, I want to thank you, President Golden, and SUMA for addressing it on the Canadian level, on the national level, on the uniqueness that this program is. It really does tell you, I think, more than anything else, if a person wonders how the economy is doing, and there's people will say different things about the economy, and you can kind of tout out different statistics about the economy. I can tell you that when the PST revenue for the province has gone up 14% year over year, 2 years previous, so the municipal revenue sharing is 0.75% from 2 years previous. 2 years previous, our PST intake into the province went up 14% compared to the year previous, and that was directly then relayed on to municipalities throughout this province, which is just very, very important. And I think in light of the conversation that we're having a little bit with the federal government, with no strings attached, or very few strings. There's some criteria that you have to match as far as audited statements, that type of thing, but very few strings attached, that those dollars can go to the priorities that you have in whatever community. And, you know, from community to community, it will vary greatly. So those dollars are no strings attached that go out and is based, again, on PST. I'm not going to be around next convention, so I can make a bold statement that I bet PST, municipal revenue sharing, will be higher next year than it is this year. And it has to be because of the incredible investment, the Premier talked about it yesterday, that we're seeing coming into the province. That investment pays PST, which then helps fund for us education and healthcare and everything else, but also helps us fund municipalities at a fixed rate that you can rely on with no strings attached. So certainly glad to see that in place moving forward. I have my priorities, but I don't know which order they're in. Okay. The third one is, again, the ISIP program, and what a great program that has been. Unfortunately, it's sunset. The Premier talked about it yesterday. We have been lobbying the federal government. I know your organizations have been lobbying the federal government that we need more infrastructure funding coming into the province. We have told the federal government that whatever number they pick will match. We'll make sure that the provincial government is there for 1/3 of their share, 1/3 federal, and it depends on the project. That can vary a little bit. But 1/3 federal and 1/3 municipal, and we can get a lot of work done in this province. If it's left up to municipalities alone, very tough to do. If it's left up to the provincial government alone, very tough to do. So it's extremely important, and I'm afraid at 2 o'clock we're not going to get the results that we want, which is municipal revenue sharing for infrastructure, an infrastructure program for municipalities that has few strings attached. I think it's going to be extremely targeted to housing. That's not the worst thing in the world, but it's then what they do with that funding. Is it only for above ground? Because I can guarantee you the communities that I met, and some today, need help underground. They need help with existing wastewater and clean water, which all houses need. So if the federal government is going to put together a housing program, which it sounds like they are, $6 billion, we don't know any sort of breakdowns and what it's for, but it at least had better have enough flexibility that it can deal with the whole housing continuum and not just new builds in certain areas, because quite frankly, in a lot of our province, that isn't the issue. It's existing infrastructure that we need help on, and we're going to continue to push the federal government on that front. What am I doing for time? Oof. The last area that I want to touch on is property tax and how important property tax is in this province. You generate your revenue out of property tax. It isn't the only people that, you're not the only person that relies on that property tax, of course. We have our education portion of property tax that we have switched from when we took government. It was 40% of education was funded by the provincial government, 60% was taken off of property tax. School divisions at that time had the ability to assess mill rates onto property, and that's how they made up their 60, and in some cases 100% of their education budget came from property tax. When we became government, we changed that, and we didn't allow school divisions to then set the mill rate. We, as a provincial government, are taking that in and are setting the mill rate. In 15 years, that mill rate has only changed twice, and it stayed status quo for this year and I think a number of years going forward. We're funding more of education through growth, through PST and other taxation tools that we have. I think it's extremely important moving forward. In light of some of the conversations, and I think we're making good headway right now regarding the teachers' contract, the STF, but there has been certain parties musing that we need to go back and allow school divisions to have access to the property tax to set their own mill rate. And I would say from our government's perspective, and going to tax revolt meeting after tax revolt meeting when I was first elected, we cannot go back to those days where school divisions set the mill rate. We need a more stable way of funding education, and that's through this tax base and not through the property tax base. That's through the PST and not through the property tax base. Also, I want to just also acknowledge Myron from SAMA, Saskatchewan Assessment Management Agency, the great work that they do. They set a goal in 2018 to do 100,000 evaluations per year and have met that goal every year in light of the fact that they receive funding from a number of avenues, but one of their major funders is us, and we had frozen their budget for 4 years or 5 years, I believe it is. We're certainly glad to be able to open that up and put $900,000 more into SAMA, which helps most, not all, but most of the communities in this room, because we know that the 2024 year is going to go by quite quickly, and 2025 is a reassessment year. So if you're not busy now, you're even going to be more busy into the future. So certainly glad that we can fund SAMA at a level that will hopefully help the importance of assessment across the province as we move forward. With that, I think those are the 4 priority areas I wanted to touch. I could have probably gone into more depth on each and every one of them, but I'm going to end it there and just say that local governments are so extremely important. I never had the opportunity to serve on one, but I can tell you that as a Minister for Government Relations, I grew up in a small town. It was a hamlet, which was in the RM of Scott. I farmed in the RM of Lejord. I knew all my councillors. I remember them all very, very well. I didn't realize what they had to go through each and every day and the challenges that municipalities have each and every day. I've learned so much in the 4 years, and you know, it's unusual that a minister stays in one portfolio for 4 years, but they couldn't get rid of me. Anytime the Premier asked, I said, no, I'm quite happy, because any other portfolio I had, you don't get to talk to elected people. And people that put their name on the ballot come from a different perspective, I think. And so I want to thank SUMA and SARM for the 4 years that I've had to represent them as a minister in government. And thank you for the education. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Minister McMorris. We appreciate your candor, your openness, and as also we have 2 members on the SAMA board, Councillor Looning and myself, and we want to say thank you for that too. I just texted Councillor Looning and said, when else have we heard a minister talk about assessment and funding for SAMA? We haven't heard that before, so we want to thank you very much for doing that, because that means so much to our municipalities. I also want to remind everyone that Minister McMorris will be here tomorrow morning for a dialogue. So if you have any questions, we don't have time to take questions now, but there'll be the opportunity at that time. And we really encourage that you stop and visit with all the dialogues, send councillors to all of them that we have, because it's really a great face-to-face with the ministers that are giving their time tomorrow, and Minister McMorris is one of them. So, SUMA delegates, huge hand for Minister Don McMorris. Thank you. All right, Cody, it's all yours.
President Randy. Okay, how about one more round of applause, please? So we're going to recognize the innovations in Saskatchewan hometowns with the Saskatchewan Municipal Awards, SMAs. The Saskatchewan Municipal Awards program is a partnership between SUMA, the Saskatchewan Association of Rural Municipalities, SARM, the Ministry of Government Relations, the Rural Municipal Administrators Associations, the Urban Municipal Administrators Associations of Saskatchewan, and the Saskatchewan Association of Northern Communities. It is wonderful to be presented for the 17th round for the SMAs. We will be seeing videos for all 4 winning projects and hand out awards to the winning urban municipalities. Rural municipalities received their awards in March for the SARM convention. This year, the selection committee reviewed 20 nominations on behalf of 28 municipalities for the 17th Saskatchewan Municipal Awards. The selection committee was made of, I may ask you to rise if you are in attendance. Malcolm Eden, former mayor of Humboldt and former vice president of cities for SUMA. Keith Comstock, executive in residence at the Johnson Shoryama Graduate School, Public Policy. Wendy Goda, municipal advisor, former administrator for the RM of Leroy, number 339, and the past president of RMAA. Harvey Malinowicz, Reeve of RM of Slyden Hills, number 273, and former SARM board member. Don Taylor, Reeve of the RM of Saltcoats, number 213, and former board member of SARM. And Jim Toy, former city manager for the city of Prince Albert. The selection committee commends all nominees on their projects. Several strong nominations were submitted that displayed community engagement and partnerships. Saskatchewan municipalities are doing great work, and we are here today to celebrate those municipalities who are going the extra mile. SUMA hopes you are inspired by the winning projects and are encouraged to share the great work that you are doing in the communities and with your neighbors by submitting your projects when the nominations are open for the 18th round of SMAs later this year. I'd like to recognize the title sponsor for this year's Saskatchewan Municipal Awards, Affinity Credit Union. Affinity has been the title sponsor for the last 8 years. Please welcome Richard Schwan, Chief Banking Officer with Affinity Credit Union, who is here to bring greetings on behalf of our sponsor.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. It is loud. My name is Richard Schwan, and I am the Chief Banking Officer for Affinity Credit Union, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be here on Treaty 4 territory, traditional territories of the Cree, Dene, Lakota, Nakota, Dakota, Saulteaux, and the homeland of the Métis, representing Affinity at the Saskatchewan Municipal Awards. Now, today we're gathered to celebrate the excellent and the innovative practices of Saskatchewan municipal governments. Urban municipalities and their local governments accomplish so much each year, and I'd like to take a moment to recognize this and everything that you'll accomplish in the future. And as elected officials and municipal employees, each of you has shown a commitment to your communities through outstanding service and contributions you have made. Now, to say that you are dedicated is absolutely an understatement. It's because of your determination and tireless efforts that you're able to improve our communities, to help them prosper, and the work that you put in makes all of us so proud of the places we call home. And for Affinity, Saskatchewan is our home too. Our hearts, business, and profits live right here. in the province, and we know that the importance of investing in our local communities. We strive to achieve this by supporting genuine, community-driven initiatives and partnering with communities, municipalities, and associations to strengthen the Saskatchewan economy. Now, the commitment each of you shows to your communities is truly commendable and is one of the reasons why Affinity is so proud to sponsor this event every year. Now, Saskatchewan is such a unique place with so much to offer. No matter where in the province you call home, there's a warmth and there's a friendliness that creates an authentic hometown feel for even a visitor. So today, as we gather together, I'd like to congratulate each of the award nominees. All of you deserve the recognition for the work, the commitment, and the dedication you've put in each and every day. But I'd also like to send out a special congratulations to all the award winners. You've done an amazing job in leading your communities to success, and I know that you'll continue down that path in the future. These awards are a true indicator of the strength of Saskatchewan and demonstrate that when we come together, we achieve more. Now, finally, I'd like to thank all of our Affinity Credit Union members here today, and it's because of you, our members, who make it possible for us to give back and to support local communities across Saskatchewan. So thank you again for coming together to celebrate the amazing contributions of our great province, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Richard, and Affinity's support for these awards is greatly appreciated. One more round of applause, please. And now on to the winners. Please hold your applause until the video finishes playing. The winner of the top Royal Initiative is the RM of Prince Albert, number 461.
Into the city of Prince Albert to create a highway commercial corridor.
The Junction is a great investment for our community. In order to provide services, we need to expand the commercial tax base.
This is the initial building that's going to be in this development along the highway corridor, which is ideal for business location.
The old building served its purpose. It was tight, the space was limited.
We were actually living on top of one another. We didn't have walls for some people. They were doing RM business in the hallway just because we didn't have the room.
We put out a tender, and we always have to take at least 3 tenders. As it happened, the 2 lowest bids were both local contractors.
The opportunity arose with Signature Developments to have a piece of land that we could build on.
We were all supporting local contractors for sure. They used a lot of our suppliers too in this local area.
We've got vaulted council chamber ceilings. We've got a state-of-the-art AV system throughout the building. We also have converted our shop during the building stages. All of our water tanks are at large capacities. We've got backup generators if the power ever goes out.
The administrators are here with all the workers too. Everything should go so much smoother.
I'm grateful that past council had the foresight to start putting money away for this project.
The government of Saskatchewan, through the Municipal Economic Enhancement Program, did provide a significant amount of funding for this building.
We're going to have development to the south and to the north, and it's going to enhance the RM greatly.
The hours that was put in, it was unreal.
There's so much a piece of me in this building. There's so much a part of DJ in our building. There's so much of council in this building.
All of those people who were involved were equally valuable because they all brought their own piece to the puzzle to make this happen.
I found our experience as a developer with the council and the people we're dealing with to be very business-minded, open to development, certainly keeping the best interests of the taxpayers and the RM's interest at hand.
If there had been some hesitancy on our part to not do it when we did it, the costs would have risen exponentially.
for our community, for our ratepayers, for the people that need to access this building to do business within the municipality. That's who we needed to make sure that we were catering to.
We love coming to work every day. We're a family.
I'm very proud of our council. I'm very proud of our staff. I'm very proud of our administration.
The whole picture here is just unbelievable.
I don't do it for myself, I do it for the betterment of the community, and I have children, so hopefully it'll better their lives too and everybody else around them.
It's an achievement for the RM, it's an achievement for this council, and it's an achievement for everybody that put so much hard work into this building.
Congratulations to the RM of Prince Albert. I'm always definitely inspired when a community comes together for the betterment of a community. The winner of the top urban initiative is the Southland Co-op Center in the town of Assiniboia. I'd like to invite the representatives from the town of Assiniboia to join us on stage to accept their award. I'd also like to invite forward SUMA President Randy Golden and the Honorable Don McMorris, Minister of Government Relations, to present our awards. As everyone makes their way to the stage, let's learn more about Assiniboia's project.
The town of Assiniboia to me is just your typical Saskatchewan prairie community with all the amenities of a big city.
It's a great place to live, lots of great recreation, lots of things to do.
Assiniboia is a sports town, and we've had some brilliant hockey players come out of here.
Your rink is your community gathering place, and there were members of our community that couldn't maybe access the old rink.
Thankfully, we have a wonderful group in town, the Assiniboia Civic Improvement Association, who had a dream.
We had funding from the town of Assiniboia, all the local RMs, the business community, a lot of the local residents.
RM 73, RM 72, a lot of the surrounding areas, the surrounding towns, they were gracious enough to donate money.
And then we received a grant from the feds and a grant from the provincial government.
We ended up building a $20 million facility.
The Southland Com Center really functions as a community center from morning till night.
We have a NHL-sized ice surface, which is obviously the hub of the facility.
We have the multi-purpose room, we have the climbing walls, we have the children's room, we have the mini stick rink.
The simulator room, the golf room.
There's different members in the walking group in the morning.
We have a lift to get people to the second floor.
State-of-the-art dressing rooms. We got the best ice in Saskatchewan now.
School skating, as there is going on behind us today. There's all the hockey games, practices.
We have entertainment lighting that's used during hockey games. We've got a digital scoreboard, which we can do full video on as well.
Birthday parties at the climbing center, the teen centers.
Outside the arena, we've got Saskatchewan's first tailgate plaza. We've got a 20-foot screen out there that we can play Rider games on it. We can play Blue Jays games on.
That commercial kitchen just offers such a variety of your typical rink burger, which is so delicious.
Our grand opening, we had a concert with Jess Moskaloo. We hosted the Saskatchewan Country Music Awards. Last year we hosted 11 hockey tournaments. This year looks about the same. We have city teams phoning, begging for ice so they can host hockey tournaments.
We've had lots of major junior arenas come through and look and see what we've done to try to get ideas for them when they're putting up new arenas and new facilities.
You're not just coming to watch a game. You're coming to have a cold beer, you're wandering around, you're visiting with other people.
There isn't a week that goes by that we're not here. My daughters figure skate, we access the recreation programs, we come to hockey games.
People from all over the province stop and see our new arena, and it's a first-class facility.
The door is opened now for us to host not only provincial but national events.
It's really just put us on the map when it comes to tourism and sport.
It goes to show that small communities can do big things.
Don't be afraid to ask your community for help, ask for volunteers, ask for financial support.
It was built by the community for the community.
It's taken a lot of years to get this, but it was well worth the wait.
Most small towns, even big cities, would dream to have something like this.
Okay. I know we gave them a round of applause, but let's go again one more time because that's very well done. And the winner of the top municipal initiative is a new mechanical wastewater treatment facility from the city of Lloydminster. I'm honored to invite the representatives from the city of Lloyd to join us on stage while we get their full story.
Lloydminster has the unique characteristic of being located on the border between Alberta and Saskatchewan.
It provides a good quality of life for people like me who have a young family.
The federal government basically mandated and in essence threatened myself jail time and a fine on the city if we did not improve our wastewater treatment arrangement from a lagoon system to something that met the qualifications and the requirements going forward of the Federal Environment Act.
Over the last 40 years, we've upgraded that equipment to make it better, but we needed to be more in compliance on what we were actually removing from the wastewater streams.
For a few years prior to that directive that we got issued, we were looking at options of what the city could actually do.
Because we discharge to the North Saskatchewan River currently, we want to ensure the people of North Battleford, Prince Albert, everybody downstream of us has the best quality water available.
It's very tough sometimes to get funding for a city that's split by two provinces.
$81.5 million is just not chump change.
There hasn't been too many times where we've had an opportunity to get both provinces and the federal government to help us on a project.
After a great deal of advocating with numerous elected officials at the provincial and federal level, we were able to secure funding from the federal government, the government of Saskatchewan, and the government of Alberta.
Navisworks was a beautiful piece of equipment used on this project to show everybody a 3D look at what this plant was to look like.
The model that was chosen was the integrated project delivery model, and that's what got us through the pandemic.
The IPD project delivery model is a model that allows municipalities to get some cost certainty for construction and delivery.
Another way to get owners, contractors, engineers at the same table and sharing the same values.
The pipe fitters were working with the electricians, and the guys pouring concrete were working with the steel guys. That's incredible.
Whether you're a city worker, whether you're a tradesperson, whether you're a contractor, whether you're the engineer, it doesn't matter. We all have to figure this out to keep moving forward.
We were able to deliver this project on time and on budget during a time where prices have significantly increased. Suppliers cannot deliver materials.
We built a facility that saved the city of Lloydminster millions of dollars and potentially in the tens of millions of dollars.
When people see a glass of clear water, almost like it came out of a water cooler coming out of your wastewater treatment plant, they can say we're doing something right.
I hope other municipalities follow City of Lloydminster's lead.
People working collaboratively can do wonders.
This will be the biggest project of my career, I'm sure of it.
This is the largest wastewater treatment project to date that's used the integrated project delivery.
It will definitely serve Lloydminster for future generations.
A big congratulations to Lloydminster on the first place win. It's wonderful to see projects that contribute to the long-term sustainability of the community. Our final award is the Regional Cooperation Award, which goes to the rural and urban municipalities for their work towards a common goal. This year's winner is a joint project between the town of Outlook and the RM of Rudy, number 284. Let's learn more about the project as they make their way up to the stage.
The RM of Rudy is a farming RM. We have all kinds of farming here.
We're a municipality that's located on the east side of the South Saskatchewan River near the town of Outlook. We have a lot of irrigation in our municipality.
Vibrant and growing. I was born and raised here. It's a wonderful place to live and a wonderful place to raise your family.
Fire services in the past were run by the town of Outlook. The town of Outlook delivered services to both the RM of Rudy and the town of Outlook, as well as the villages of Broderick and Glenside.
The community is always behind the volunteer fire services. Anything volunteer, rescue, communities are behind you.
If we happen to be at a call, say we're at a fire, and it goes all night, there's people who will bring us snacks and food and drinks to help keep us going.
We are very thankful for the dedicated crew that we've got that volunteer their time away from their families, away from their jobs.
The fire hall that we are in today does not accommodate all of the equipment that the town of Outlook and the RM of Rudy run now.
We've got our ladder truck at the town shop. We've got the boat and the wildland truck in a garage behind the town shop.
When we get calls, everybody was coming in, and there's lots of elbows being thrown, and guys are always quite packed into the spot that we are in.
Our RM has been really fortunate with the fire services that we have been provided so far, but you have to think into the future.
Late in the fall of 2020, there was conversations between the RM of Rudy and the town of Outlook about forming some sort of a joint partnership.
When our council was elected, we all felt that it was important to reach out to the surrounding municipalities and build those partnerships.
The Outlook-Rudy Fire Protective Services are owned by the town of Outlook and the RM.
As we got more involved as an RM council, through the working group, we realized that a new fire hall was something that was needed.
We're just waiting for delivery of a new rescue van, and the rescue van actually would not have fit in this fire hall had it been not renovated in 2021.
We went ahead after some research and purchased what's called a wildland fire truck. It's much smaller, has foam equipment on it.
We can hopefully save response time so that they can get out and hopefully save lives rather than the alternative.
We've actually contracted with a philanthropical company, DCG Philanthropical. They're an outfit out of Saskatoon, and they are helping us manage and look for funds for building a new fire hall. We are looking at bringing in as much corporate sponsorship as we can.
We are really not separate communities. The RM completely envelops the town of Outlook, and there really isn't much important that happens in the RM that doesn't affect the town, and vice versa.
We've had a joint health committee since we built the new hospital, and that's worked very well. And now with the Outlook-Rudy Fire and Rescue, wonderful project. I think there'll be other projects coming down the pipe for sure.
The council today is just fantastic to deal with, and they have a shared vision of what we would like to see.
You have to be willing to sit down and talk things out, because if you can't do that, you're going to get nowhere.
When you pull together, the load is lighter.
When you work together as a community, things get done.
Congratulations to the town of Outlook. It is also great when urban and municipalities working together to ensure the safety of their residents. I will now call upon SUMA President Randy Golden to say a few words on behalf of SUMA.
Thank you, Cody, and thank you very much to the innovation and coming from all of the recipients today. And I want to say on behalf of SUMA, and I think just having the conversation I've been having up here with Minister McMorris, I can say it on his behalf. Can I speak for you on this?
That's what you're going to say.
Well, these awards, they not only celebrate the excellence and the innovation and everything that goes on in our municipalities around best practices, they also share the knowledge, the best practices amongst our municipalities across this province. So we want to thank you for developing innovative solutions, undertaking creative initiatives that are inspiring all of us here today. It's wonderful to see this showcase and the amazing projects that are happening in our communities. The videos shown today will be available on the Saskatchewan Municipal Awards website. So please go back to your communities and take a look with them, with your committees and the council members that may not be here today. You can also find the best practices and more there, so I encourage you to check that website out. And you know, you might just find some inspiration for some projects in your own community. Again, thank you very much. Congratulations to our recipients today, and I'm going to hand you back to the capable hands of Cody.
Thank you very much, Randy. Our AGM is the next on the agenda, but while we get the table set up and while the SUMA Board of Directors makes their way to the stage, it's time for the Tuesday prize draw. Today's draw is sponsored by BCL Engineering. To be entered for today's draw, you had to fill out your Tuesday ballot and get it in the draw drum by 10:45 a.m. If you were an early bird and got your ballot in the drum before 8:30 a.m., you have an extra chance to win. As we begin our draws for 5 great prizes, I just want to remind you that you must be in the room to win. If we draw a name and they are not here, we will draw again. For prize package 1, we will be drawn from ballots that were entered into the drum before 8:30 a.m. We will then mix the early ballots in with the other ballots to draw winners.